start on time.
Actually, we're early. We're early, but early's better than late, as the saying goes. In fact, isn't it, because we're in the time of Virgo, isn't it the Virgo idiom that if you're on time, you're late?
I think that holds true for most earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If they're not 15 minutes early, they consider themselves late.
I love it.
Whereas Leos, if they're 15 minutes late, they consider themselves on time.
Vaguely on time. Actually, I'm quite punctual. I'm not.
Really?
Oh, really? Yeah, no, if I have to be somewhere at a given time, I'm there at that time. I don't...
Well, within 15 minutes, anyway.
Away and up your bum.
It's because you're overworked. You're always doing something. And you have that Leo mindset that you could leave the house at the time you're supposed to be somewhere.
No.
And you're on time.
That's
not true.
I haven't discovered how to teleport yet.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the
that could come in handy if I could do it. But listen, on the subject of being on time, I've actually done, while we're doing the preamble, before we actually got to 11 o'clock, I have done the necessary saving and stuff like that. And Aaron's saying, not wrong. So true. Virgo, Sun and Capricorn rising. So there you go. Yes, well, apparently people are agreeing with us this morning. So there we go. It's not quite 11. So on the crack of 11, we should... We've hatching some cunning plans.
We are. We're
hatching some cunning plans.
I think we're going to revamp and have a little studio.
Oh, yeah. And I feel the need for a jingle.
A jingle?
I think a jingle. Do you think a jingle? We need an Elevensies jingle. I think that's what we do.
We'll have to talk to Barry Manilow.
If you can afford him. That's all I can say. Listen, he wrote, didn't he write the State Farm jingle?
And Band-Aid.
Like a good neighbour. Oh, I love Band-Aid because Band-Aid's stuck on me.
Yep.
Is that it? Anyway, we're waffling. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Let me just say, in the subject of fairness, other adhesive bandages are available. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock. Good morning and welcome to Elevensies with Lisa and Anton. Skittle was here. She has just disappeared off somewhere.
Yeah, she's like schizophrenic. She's so funny.
Well, that's why she has the name Skittle.
Right. Her real name is Morgan. Her real name is Morgan, but...
Elevensies and tea. Well, if you drink tea, I mean, I personally tend to have coffee, but my coffee is defective. It's already gone this morning. I'm in danger of being over-caffeinated.
Nessa says a jingle would be nice and so fancy.
Fancy. We need a jingle.
Good morning,
we need good
Amber.
Jingles. Good morning, Sparky. Good morning, Gilda. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Wendy. Thank you for joining us.
A bunch of people today.
Yes, and hopefully you did bring the two people you said you were going to bring with you.
No, you said they were going to bring.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said. Okay. Well, remember I said, maybe you could just, share this video all over the place. We're trying to be less of a well-kept secret.
Yeah, actually,
you guys can help.
I think we should work on sharing last night's tarot scopes.
Do you know, they were damn good.
I will. A lot of good information for people.
When I get 5 seconds, let me edit them. I'll edit them. I'll put some chapters on it so you can go directly for the card that you got for the month. But yeah, they're pretty good. Pretty good.
Lots of information.
There's lots of information there. They're not all bad, all right, but it's useful. It's useful information how to deal with some interesting astrological alignments. I think would be the best way to describe it. So
if you were watching Tarot Scopes last night, I said that there was going to be kind of a roller coaster of energy for this month.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
High highs and low lows, and that it would balance itself out. But the higher the highs, the lower the lows. So we thought today we'd talk about how to not get overwhelmed.
Oh, God.
Right?
And we almost do sometimes. It looks like the enormity of the tasks in front of you. And you go, where the hell am I supposed to start? And it's almost like sometimes you think, what now? What can I bloody do? It's just, there's something coming at me from every direction. And, there's Skittle. Hello. So what's your good advice?
Okay, my advice is to balance out the anxiety and feeling of being overwhelmed with forcing yourself to do tiny things. Right? So sometimes we get this tsunami and we're just like, that's it. I'm staying in bed today. I can't do anything.
Sod it. I'm going back to bed.
All right. But in that case, if you got up and made your bed clean, right? So
or maybe even just made your bed, even if you're not up for changing the sheets.
Made your bed clean. Made your bed clean, right? You're clearing away that energy, right?
Okay.
So you take off all the bedding, all the sheets, blankets, pillows, everything else, and then you do your routine, whether it's, some people Lysol things and some people just air it for a little bit or whatever it is. I don't care if you smudge it.
Some people vacuum the entire mattress.
Whatever you're going to do. The whole process from stripping to putting the sheets back on probably takes no more than 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. And that's if you procrastinate during it.
Right.
But
and that's
then,
if you vacuum the mattress
and all that. Vacuum the mattress and change the sheets and dress it, put pillows and everything is not going to take you more than half an hour. It really isn't.
You're probably right. Okay? And that's if you're struggling by yourself as well. If it's not two of you doing it.
And then that space is cleared. Because if you can't sleep or you wake up with all this stress and anxiety or rethinking and thinking about everything, you've ended up imprinting that in the place where you're going to sleep.
I get you.
Right?
I get you. Yeah.
So you've imprinted that, and that cycle is just going to repeat the next day. But if you can smudge it, clear it, cleanse it, maybe you put a little bit of, if you like lavender oil, you put a little bit of lavender oil on your pillow before you put the pillowcase on.
Perhaps not something too energizing. For
no, lavender is for sleep. Or chamomile, something, And then imagine that bed is a sacred place. And that you're going to rest really well.
It's where you go to other. It is a very sacred space, isn't it?
Also, I think many of us have so many jobs that our home becomes overwhelming too, right? Like we walk in when we come home from work or whatever, we walk in and there's like this dumping ground. We take our shoes off, we dump our keys and if you're carrying a wallet or a purse and a phone and, whatever it is, backpack, all these things go into this dumping ground place that's probably somewhere near the front door.
Right, yeah.
Well, now the entrance of your home, all the energy's blocked there.
It's also a big clutter, isn't it?
Right. So I'm not.
Fascinating.
I'm using some feng shui tips. Like I teach a Wiccan feng shui class, right?
I know enough feng shui to be dangerous. That's
right. Well, the entrance of our home comes in.
Well, we got big bloody boxes right there.
Yeah. Well, the entrance of our home comes in, and that's your career section. So those are boxes full of things that have to do with our career, but it's okay.
Actually,
but it comes into our power section, and that's the place where you really don't want clutter. Is your power section.
Okay.
And yesterday I turned the light on in our fame section because I wanted to kind of
illuminate our fame.
Our
fame. Ha ha.
All right.
So I just going back to making your bed, and I will say this, even if you haven't got time, so many people feel they're that sleep deprived and they don't get enough time to themselves. They literally stumble out of bed in the morning, throw themselves in the shower, and put some clothes on, put some makeup on if that's what you do, and wallop out the door, grab something to chew on the way to go and do
go to Starbucks, grab your coffee,
whatever. Some people live in this sort of I can't cope, sort of, I have no time. I'm going to make a suggestion for you. You can try this tomorrow morning. If you use an alarm clock to wake up, which probably most people who go to work do, set your alarm just 5 minutes earlier, okay? And get out of bed, and this time, make your bed. I'm not saying necessarily strip it and make it clean like Lisa's saying. If you have the time to do that, that's great. But this time, make your bed.
Right, just don't leave it all jumbled up.
Straighten it. And then before you walk out of your bedroom door, just look back and you will feel that first sense of accomplishment. The one sense of accomplishment. I see my colleague and friend Bob is sending me pictures. He's obviously got his drone up taking pictures
of the
flooded lands. We shall see. Because Celtica borders the Walkill, so hopefully that's not too underwater today. Anyway, but that minor accomplishment, one of the biggest reasons for stress and feeling overwhelmed is the powerlessness that you have to change your situation. But when you actually look at the minor things, as Lisa's saying, if you look at the minor accomplishments, You say, oh, I got that one down. And that's all you need. That's your foothold on the rock wall, or your handhold on the rock wall. You've got that minor accomplishment, and you just start to build on these minor accomplishments. And this will help you, because I never make my bed. I will never make my bed, but I will do the dishes. Just tidy your bed, Sparky.
That's the next thing that I want to talk about, but I had to give him his turn to talk.
No, it's about those minor things, little things. You're acting, and therefore that dissipates stress. Please, I don't want to hog this.
So that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about was, we have that clutter component by our front door, and that's where the energy comes in. So when we pile everything up by the front door, we're actually blocking good energy from coming in.
Right.
When I had my first home, when you opened the front door, you looked directly at the kitchen sink.
Okay.
So I had to do my dishes every day. Because when I came home,
you didn't want
if I opened that door and the sink was piled full of dirty dishes, all the energy that came in that was meant to make me feel happy went right into the pile of dirty dishes. So again, if we do it every day, it doesn't take that much time. But, I've seen people on YouTube that are talking about decluttering in people's kitchens and things. And the one lady was like, well, I don't do the dishes until all of the dishes are dirty. In other words, every dish she has to be on the counter.
I couldn't do that.
And when the declutter lady came, she was like, well, in that case, you are now going to have only 2 of everything accessible.
That's about the size of it. It's true. It's those minor things. Keep going. I'm sorry.
But what I'm trying to say is, rather than be overwhelmed or pile up things, and I know we're using housework as an example,
right?
But I'm saying anything. When it piles up, it becomes overwhelming.
It does.
If you can break it down into smaller pieces, right? Like, whatever your accounting is like, whatever you have to do with like bill paying, rather than have this giant stack of bills on your desk and you think, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to pay all of those. You could get some of them done online. And if you don't trust that, you could set them out in weekly stacks, right? So instead of trying to pay the electric bill, the heat bill, the water bill, the credit card bill, the mortgage, the rent, whatever it is, all at one time, thinking all of my money is gone, you could spread it out. You'd say, well, here's my first of the month bills. Here's my middle of the month bills. Here's my end of the month bills. And it takes less time each time, and you don't feel overwhelmed. So whatever it is going on in your life, even your spirituality, that keeps getting pushed to the back, because I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and I'm obligated to this person or that person, and I'm obligated to work, and I'm obligated to family, and I'm obligated, blah, 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 blah. And the last thing you get to do is anything with your spirituality.
Right, because it got pushed to the back of the queue.
So maybe that's part of your morning routine.
Well, we do, kind of. We do.
Well, we do,
we
yes.
have this habitual thing, even, incantations over our coffee and all that sort of stuff. A couple of mantras. I think what Lisa's saying is absolutely bang on. So spreading your workload over the month, don't just say, oh, it's bill paying marathon. I have to sit down and I've got to do absolutely
there goes all my money.
Everything now. If you spread them over the course of the week, you know when your due dates are. So what you want to do is maybe set it and do it a couple of days early as well, just in case you find yourself in a situation where suddenly an emergency's popped up, you've got pulled away from it. You won't be late then, You'll have got it done those couple of days early. The other thing, which is a great mantra to have, is do it once, handle it now. Okay? Do it once, handle it now. And there are 2 ways of doing things. And this is another mantra I picked up from somebody else. Do it right or do it again. you know. And so
that's what happens, right?
It's true. If you don't do it right, you're going to have to do it again, which is effectively taking twice the time to do it. So the do it once, handle it now is great. Perfect example, washing up. When we love to cook. Can you tell? we love to cook, but we're very good at clearing up as we go. Mm-hmm. So you finish with a utensil, you've just prepared whatever, you've beaten your eggs in it or whatever. It's washed, it's drained, it's ready to go for the next thing. And so you've not got this god-awful mound of washing up at the end of the meal, You've slaved on for hours making it.
Very seldom do we dry and put away the dishes at night because we are so busy. But that sink full of dried dishes gets put away in the morning when we're waiting for the coffee.
And it's dish drainers work. Yeah. They just do. But make sure you do it once and you do handle it now. And make sure you allow time for things. You've got to allow time for things. So don't put it off to the last minute, which is what so many people do. Oh, I've got to deal with this. Oh, I've got to deal with it. Oh my God, I forgot to deal with that. And that is more of a cause of stress.
Right, everything. And I know we're talking about a lot of housework, but I want you to translate that into whatever part of your life you're feeling overwhelmed with, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I've stripped my bed. Now I've got that laundry, and I've got, 5 other loads of laundry. It's going to take me an entire day to do laundry, so I'm overwhelmed and I can't do laundry. I have to go buy new clothes.
Sure.
But if you did 1 load of laundry a week, it wouldn't be so bad. And I recognize that some people can't do laundry in their own house. They have to go out to do the laundry.
Some people don't have the luxury.
Going to the laundromat with being able to read a chapter in a book that you want to read while you're waiting for the laundry to dry.
Exactly.
The other thing I would say spiritually, a really good practice to get in, is to whatever divination tool that you want to learn or that you like or that you want to explore, whether it be oracle cards or tarot cards or runes or whatever it is, do 10 minutes of that each day.
Yep.
Whether it's read about that particular thing in a book or, one of the things I like to do is pull a card every morning and see what my day is going to be like. And when I teach the tarot class, I tell people to pull a card in the morning and not look at it.
Don't look at it.
How we learn.
Don't look at it.
How we learn is pull a card in the morning, don't look at it. At the end of the day, think about your day and look at the card and see how it correlates to what went on.
Yeah, it's because then you're starting to build your, what do you call it, empirical evidence database.
Yeah.
Your
code book.
your own specific code book. So this relates to this. And so, because we all have a unique relationship to the tarot. And Lisa and I, although we largely follow the same kind of meaning, certainly the archetypal stuff, but we do have our unique little twist on interpretations.
Everybody does. If you took the same card to all 13 of our readers, each person would probably give you a different sentence.
That's true. Yeah, but it's again, we relate from where we're standing. It's our own personal relationship and our own personal view on where we're standing, on what we see and how it relates to us. So you have to take the time to build that relationship. So if you're learning this skill, factor that in, I'm too busy to get organized. It's not a good, it's good mantra,
But in any part of your life, in your health, in your spirituality, in your finance, and in your living situation, if you are organized and fair to yourself, life will be easier, right? Mm-hmm. If you come in and you have a place to hang your keys or your purse,
you'll always know where your keys and your purse are.
You'll always know where it is. You won't have to search for it, and it won't be in a big cluttered up mess, And I think a really good thing to organize, if people say, well, I have no idea how to organize myself, is get the thing put away where you use it, right? If it's something that you're going to use at your desk,
probably wants
find
to be
a place
near
for it
your desk.
At your desk, right? If you're going to pay your bills on your computer, then why are your bills strewn all over your kitchen counter because that's where you threw the mail when you came in. You
Right.
know, have a little bin. Put your bills in a bin on your desk. So the clutter does clutter your thoughts.
It does.
Right? And if we don't take time to take care of our health, it deteriorates.
Worse than that, if you don't take time for your health, you will have to take time for your illness. You will.
Yeah, and then you'll have even more clutter because you can't work. You know, it can't work. But whatever it is, try to give each thing its fair lookout each day.
Absolutely. And we can't overemphasize that action, even if it's tiny little things, is the perfect antidote to stress. The very fact that you are doing something dissipates the stress.
Right.
Stress comes from this, overwhelmed feeling like, oh my God, where do I start? What can I do? How can I do it? It's out of control.
Everywhere I
it's
look,
all
there's
out
chaos.
of control. There's nothing I can handle here. It's all,
Everywhere I look, there's chaos. I can't find anything. I can't think. I can't sleep. I don't feel I'm worthy. All these other things just kind of compound on it.
It becomes a toxic cesspool.
So I think what I'm trying to say is, set a new habit. Mm-hmm. And it does take about 7 days.
You gotta work
a chakra
it.
cycle, a Saturn cycle, about 7 days to create a new habit, right? So if you said, okay, I think that I'm drinking way too much coffee, and I'm going to limit myself to 2 cups of coffee a day, if you're somebody who drinks like 10. It's going to take you a good 7 days to get yourself into that habit.
If that's a habit, that habitual stuff is like, I'll give you an example. Rather than taking stuff, a lifestyle's change like reducing your caffeine input. I mean, again, why are you reducing the amount of coffee you're drinking? Is it because you've got too much caffeine? Maybe think about moving to decaf for a start. If you need that amount of coffee. But let's how we handle our mail. Yeah. So you go to your mail, you grab your mail from your mailbox, or however it comes to you. What do you do with it? You just throw it on the kitchen table and think I'll get to that in a bit.
In a couple of weeks, a piece has fallen down behind somewhere.
Maybe when you sit down with your coffee or whatever, you specify a time for this. I'm going to go through this mail. So if it's like a bill and needs to be paid on a certain date, put that date on the top and set that into a pile for that week or that date. If it's junk mail, straight into another pile. Pick up that junk mail, straight into the recycling with it. If it's personally identifiable information, shred it, and then into the recycling with it. So you've dealt with that. And if you can get habitual with that...
That's the do it once, handle it now habit, yeah.
If you can get habitual with that, in other words, you've done this every day for the last... Lisa's saying 7 days.
7 days.
I will go further than that. If you can do it every day for 7 weeks, you've nailed it. You will never, ever be a problem for you again. Right. You've got that going on now. That's become part of your routine. But I think
once we get into this kind of chaos space, like Pam was saying, I'm ADD, and that's a space of living in chaos, chaotic thoughts. But once we get into the chaos, it's really hard to get out of the chaos.
Oh, it is.
But honestly, if you bring the mail in, maybe if you've got 5 or 6 pieces of mail, because a lot more things are done online these days. But how long is it really going to take you to open 5 or 6 things?
Seconds,
and then it's done.
Seconds, really. And you read it. What do I need to do with this? Do I need to do a response to this? Can you fire off the response immediately? If you can, then deal with it then.
All right. Thomas Mayberry Van Duzer.
What a nice name. Hello, Thomas.
He says, good morning.
Good morning.
I have a friend, Brian Toretto. Give him a shout out. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
And from myself, hello to both of you on the Book of Face.
Well, thank you.
So hello, Thomas, and hello Brian.
Thank you.
And I hope we're giving you some good tips.
Yes, Gilda's saying this is me, clutter, probably why I feel overwhelmed and anxious all the time. It is anxiety comes from the feeling, oh my God, how do I cope with this? How do I cope with this? And you think about clutter. I mean, the amount of clutter we get. I'll give you an example of clutter. Let's say you're working outside and you start to drop things all over the place. Before long, you're going to have so much clutter you can't safely work. You're going to be falling over things. Where are the
clippers? Where did I set that down? A home for something. Even if it's not working really neatly, at least these things are over here, these things are over here, these things are over here, and I have this workspace.
Yep.
If you're working outside.
I don't know. Surprisingly enough, I don't have any Virgo tendencies, but I am a very neat worker when I'm working on cars and stuff like that. I make sure that all my components that I've got are neatly, and I'm not losing nuts and bolts all over the place. I mean, the same thing happens, when you're doing work on minute stuff. If you're doing on computers, I organize all of the bits and pieces that come out of it, so I don't left with a cup of shame as like, I've got a couple of screws left over. Oops. It's like you have to be organized in the way that you work, methodical.
Jen says she finds that organizing things also helps relieve depression. Absolutely, because you feel accomplished. You've got something to look at that's neat and tidy. And that kind of sets your mindset. And that's why we were talking about your bed.
Make your bed.
Energy does follow thought. And energy understands your intention. And
well, your intention is energy.
And there is that imprint where you're living, where you're sleeping, where you're working, where you're doing your spiritual work.
Correct.
If you clear nothing else, have a shelf or a space where you keep your spiritual tools. It doesn't have to be an altar, but obviously we have an altar, but it doesn't have to be an altar. It could be just one designated place that has your special candle or a statue or your tarot or the books that are important to you. And that, go stare at that if you need to kind of reset.
Well, yeah, you've got to have your little, everybody needs a sanctuary or a place of calm and safety. And one of the things that I find when I do counsel people about how to deal with anxiety and stress is how to build one on the astral plane. But that aside, we can't really go into that today. It is important to have a place of focus for your spirituality within your home. Even if you don't have the luxury, if you're living in a shared space, it might be a dorm or, whatever. For whatever reason, you can't have it out all the time. Make yourself your own thing and take great care of that. And then set it up and, spend that time just to reset, just to touch base, reset, let go of the crap, ground it out to the universe, and just breathe. There's so much. We are so powerful. And the secret, it all begins, though, with a thought. I'm going to do one thing today for 10 minutes that's going to reset and help me. One sets it all in motion. So if you're having difficulty, doing the positive thinking, moving forward positively, we'll go right back to the start of this Elevensies where we said, make your bed. You get out of bed in the morning, tidy it. Okay, we're not saying you're going to make a fresh bed and reset the sheets.
No, I'm using that as an example. If you really can't sleep and you've had a lot of anxiety, I'm saying the best thing to do is clear that imprint. Just like you would clear your house when someone left whom you really didn't like.
Yeah, you want to go through and maybe smudge the place or whatever and just, remove that energy. And if even some people say, oh, it doesn't really work, it's purely psychological. Well, aren't we dealing with psychological issues here? Aren't we? So if it makes you feel better, then ergo, it works. It is that simple. So yes, when you get up in the morning, make your bed, turn around, look back at it and say, hey, that's neat and tidy. And I'm looking forward when I can come back and snuggle down in that tiny little thing. Don't let a mound of dishes pile up in your sink, This is like, it becomes overwhelming. Deal with one thing, do it once, handle it now. And
smaller bites.
Little bites. We're not talking about, there's nothing earth-shatteringly difficult here.
Well, this month, again, September is going to be waves of things that are either going to make you go, oh my goodness, how wonderful. Now I have to deal with all this. Or, holy crap, how am I going to take care of this? So there's going to be these high highs, low lows. It will come to a balance. Just take it one piece at a time.
Exactly.
Baby steps. Yep.
Baby steps, yeah.
All right.
And it's all right. You're going to fall on your bum occasionally, but babies get up. They bounce well.
Well, babies don't have that same fear that big people do.
I know. Oh, my God. I remember this. It's like one of the first times I went skiing, and I'd finally, I'd got these, young man, how should we say, no fear genes.
Invincible.
I'm invincible. And it was my first go at a black run ever on skis, which is like, whoa. I think they call it something different over here. Black diamond or whatever it is. So this was like, whoa, But, there I am thinking I'm some kind of demigod. And these little French kids, and they're like 3 feet tall, come like hurtling down the slope past me. I think, they have no fear glands. They just
well, it's like a drunk driver. He bounces because but we would tense up.
Yeah, but they it's like they're born on skis, the kids or whatever.
All right. Our card of the day.
What is our card of the day? Ooh.
The Four of Pentacles.
Bit of dosh.
All right.
It's all useful.
I'm going to kind of read this with what we were talking about and say that it's worth making that investment in yourself.
Hell yes.
Right? So that you have a solid foundation. He's got both feet on coins, right? A solid foundation, things that you're working on right now, and things that you believe are worth working on. So today, make that investment. Maybe you set out a plan for the month and you say, this is what I want to accomplish this month. I just want, in these 4 weeks, to clean my bedroom or to change my wardrobe over to winter clothes. It doesn't have to be that.
Oh, don't mention winter.
Whatever it is, today is the day to make an investment in yourself and your plan. What's your reading?
I like this card too as well. I mean, yeah, this is somebody who's got it going on. And we'll take that in context of what we've been talking about today. And that is, yes, invest in yourself. You are worthy. You are definitely worthy. Make sure your thoughts are valuable. Make sure you value your emotions and your heart is valuable. Make sure you're stood on valuable ground, that you realize the importance of good foundations. And good foundations can be as simple as setting a foundation for the day. Ergo, making your bed, your foundation. It's the very first thing, If you wake up in the morning,
each time you go back into your bedroom during the day,
oh, that's pleasing.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's pleasing. So it's all about that. Vacuum your bloody car. Let's
Thank
clear.
you, Mike.
Mike
says we're a comfort to listen to and very inspirational.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah, vacuum. Well, some people's cars, their shed.
Oh, tell me about it. I don't know how they can possibly safely operate the vehicle.
Well, I think what people don't realize about us is we're definitely, what is it? Motorheads? I don't know.
We have
car
petrol
mats.
heads, gear heads, petrol heads.
We have car mats on our car mats so that our car mats stay clean.
Yeah, you have mats to protect your mats. Of course you do. No, we look at, if you look after stuff, it will look after you. And I think we do have that ethic when it comes to something, especially if you've sunk a chunk of change into it, and a car's not cheap by any stretch of imagination. So, you look after it well if you want it to serve you well. I mean, we keep our vehicles for quite a long period of time.
Yeah.
We're not lease it for a year and chuck it in for a new one kind of thing. I mean, that may suit some people, but we certainly get full and proper use out of things, but you've got to care for them. And that comes back to the
care for yourself, too.
If you don't care for yourself, how do you expect to take care of things? Mm-hmm. So yes, the self-care is part and parcel of decluttering your life and getting organized and not being overwhelmed.
My mom always used to say, if you don't feel well, try to look good and you'll feel better, right? Yeah. In other words, that's like, again, an overview. If you don't like the way something is, pretty it up and then you'll like it. And it doesn't have to be a ton of money spent. It could just be cleaning or organizing, whatever it is.
I mean, I know your mum had great sage wisdom. I'm so sorry I never got to meet her. Sadly, she departed this mortal coil long before I got here. But I understand that was at the time she was facing a life-limiting illness at the point.
Well, it was just how she lived her whole life that.
But it's true if you think about it. If you look in the mirror and you see,
I'm not sure how I feel today. Pick good, you'll feel better. No, but that's how she lived her whole life. That wasn't just when she was
Okay, but it lifts your spirits.
Yeah.
It does. You're looking at something, you go, oh, that's very pretty. That looks good on me, or whatever. You know, this lifts you up. And that's the whole thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to get you to see the good in a situation, because honestly, and there's no secret here. I know people have written books called The Secret and all that.
There's no secret.
It's no secret. What you focus on comes into focus. And it really is that simple. It really is.
Right.
You know?
Wear the shirt you're saving.
Yeah.
Because you like how it feels and you love how it makes you
Drink
look.
out of the cut glass.
Yeah, drink it. Absolutely. I drink pineapple juice out of one of our best wine glasses. Because what's the worst thing that could happen? I break the glass. But if I never use it, why do I even have it?
Well, you know, it's up on the shelf, and chances are Emmett's going to jump up and bust the glass on the shelf without you enjoying it.
I think the point really today is work not to be overwhelmed and enjoy your life.
Wendy says if you're feeling sorry for yourself, do something for someone else. Wendy, sage advice.
Wonderful. You'll feel better about that too.
It's honestly, that's the kind of Buddhist wisdom. Master, I'm discouraged. Go encourage others.
Yeah.
Because by doing so, you're aligning with the energy of encouragement,
inspiration,
and encouragement,
and good karma. That gift of giving that energy to someone.
Apart from anything else, it feels damn good to help somebody else. It really does. Even if they don't appreciate it, you do. It feels good. And to me,
not everyone knows how to say thank you. They feel guilty.
Some people feel clammed up and very, honestly, some people feel so embarrassed that they've accepted help. They feel that that's a weakness in themselves. And anyway. It's difficult for them to express that. So,
all right.
Enjoy the now. Thank you for this message needed. This Gilda, you're most welcome. Thank you guys for all your wonderful, lovely comments. We do appreciate you greatly. So we probably get on with things, haven't we?
We got a lot to do today. Like every day.
This is supposed to be Elevensies, but it's turned into an epic rant. Well, not a rant.
It's all good.
Hopefully it's been inspirational. So do please, everybody who's watching us on the Book of Face, would you consider watching us on the Tube of You? We ask you to do that simply because we're trying to get better known. Right. We have an ulterior motive.
We have. We have plans for world domination, so you could help us.
World domination? No, actually, joking apart, we have plans for world salvation rather than domination.
Don't forget Celtica.
Celtica is what we're talking about, and we need a chunk of change to make that happen. And we have determined that the best way for us to be able to get that is to become influencers. And so, I think we speak a good speak. That makes sense. All right, come on, we speak a good speak. So if you're watching us on Facebook, please do think about joining us on YouTube. Subscribe to us, like, comment, subscribe, share us around. We'd like to be better known, and the more we can get, joining energies and joining shoulders with us, the quicker Celtica will become a reality. So thank you for that. Please do like, comment, subscribe, share this video, tell your friends about it, bring a couple of people along tomorrow. We love you guys and we appreciate you all very much.
Have a great day, and we'll see you in the morning.
Yes, indeed. So